Hello and welcome to Synerise broadcast. Today we are hosting David Toborek, the father of digital transformation and chief digital officer of Eat Happy Group, and Patrycja Zapała, senior business consultant from Synerise customer success team, who was behind implementation at Eat Happy Group. Today we will take you through the exciting backstage stories of implementation that we are particularly proud of. The implementation that was spanning across 9 countries in Europe and took us less than 3 months. David, could you introduce Eat Happy Group to our viewers and your role in the company?
Sure. The Eat Happy Group is a ultra-fresh convenience company. We are very famous for producing high-quality sushi. We have also other food concepts such as mochis. We have Levantine food. We also have ice cream and waffles that we are serving. So everything that makes you feel good at the end of the day, which is a very perfect name for the name Eat Happy Group. The scope of our operations is spanning 4,000 POS locations across Europe, with our biggest operations in Germany, Austria and Italy. Only in Germany for this year, we are having 1,250 physical shops and 400 chillers, and the growth expectations for the next couple of years, only considering Germany, is 2,000 shops in the near future. Every month, Eat Happy Group is hiring approximately 300 people to support its growth expansion plans in order to provide very delicious, very tasty food to the end customers.
Last year when we met, you had a very clear vision how to take traditional company to digital transformation, how to take Eat Happy Group customers to become a digital customer. Could you bring us this vision and share with us?
Sure. So when we are looking into the human, if you're looking into ourselves where we are today here, is we are going to be in a couple of hours, we're going to be hungry. It's going to be lunchtime and we're going to think, what am I in the mood for? And if you're thinking about food, especially food which is seen as a commodity element, it's widely available, is how do you position Eat Happy as something that is on top of your mind, or rather on top of your stomach? And the ambition that we have catered for and looked for is the share of stomach. How can I increase with all of the various food concepts that Eat Happy is having in being one of the first choices whenever you are tempted to eat something? And when you think about this rather broad vision and this rather broad direction, you suddenly start to understand against who you are competing. You are competing against high convenience, which is, for example, McDonald's or Burger King. You're starting to play also against bakeries who are also in the food and lunch sector. You're starting to look into döner places, into other Asian cuisine places. You basically see everything that is filling this very small human organ as a possible competition. So what we have set with the share of stomach is the goal of getting as much of this yummy feeling into your stomach as possible. And for that, you need to have digital touch points. We are right now researching what we want based on our health decisions, based on what is sustainably being found, what has the lowest impact from a carbon footprint perspective. You want to not only consume a good, you also want to have a good feeling while consuming it. And for that one, you need to create awareness. And awareness can not only be achieved with a good product, you also need to promote it.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much for the insight. This happy feeling was not really a part of the selection process. The selection process for the provider of the digital transformation was very tough. We went for the multiple demos. We had to present the multiple use cases, then the proof of value, a very rigorous process. Then at the end, the selection committee selected Synerise over the Bloomreach Exponea. What was the reason that you actually selected Synerise?
I'm now working for 15 years in digital and IT. And you know one thing, once you select a tool, it's gonna stay. So the decision you want to take for the right tool needs to be very thorough. So we actually selected 7 companies as part of the RFI. So we approached 7 companies and telling them, Eat Happy Group, with all of its subsidiaries, is looking for a new way to approaching the end customers. All of them responded. Not a lot of them were prepared, and not a lot of them, and actually only one company, Synerise, gave us the feeling that we can grow with this company for a very long period in the future. So from the 7 selections, which took approximately 2 months from our initial contacting, RFI, RFP, and then to the demo, we indeed went with Synerise and with the other competitor to have a head-in-head comparison. So it was very thorough because we know once you select a tool, it's gonna stay in the company for a very long time, and this makes you even more aware and responsible for what you're actually selecting.
So looking forward, so next 3, 4, 5 years, that was we discussed, of course, CDP and marketing automation, but we were also looking at the way down the road about talking about loyalty, which is a part of our platform. This is the embedded inside, the analytic tools and so on. Did you look at this as the nice to have or the strategic advantage?
This become only aware, and we only became aware of this one once we started to look into the platform ourselves. Mm-hmm. If you look into the ability to plan, you plan maybe this year, you plan maybe next year, and then it becomes very, very fuzzy. Yeah. Once we looked into the RFI and RFP into Synerise and the use cases that were also proactively being suggested by Synerise, look, this is what you could do, this is what use cases you could cover. By the way, at this point, high compliment from our side, because I think there was, especially also from your side, Patrycja, everybody else gave us, okay, we have done this with another customer, we have done this with this customer, and this was like a tailored demo that you would have expected, right? Mm-hmm. Because you're going through this long selection, and it was like, look, Eat Happy team, you could do this. And we thought about this, and this was not only, let's say, mentioned sentences, but I think I remember that you even suggested some diagrams. If you give access to this, then we have this, and then we can automate this. So it was really something that gave us confidence, because you do not only want confidence in the tool, you want to have confidence in the people operating the tool and who are going to be with you on this journey.
Yes.
That the people have also the same direction that you are setting for the company, that they are with you supporting this company. And I think from all of the tools, people made the difference. The people really truly made a difference for us, where it was a no-brainer to select Synerise as the tool of choice.
So compliments to the young team who is thinking out of the sushi box.
Very nice.
All right, so Eat Happy Group is not like our other retail customers from these segments. We have more than 100 customers from e-commerce and retail segment, but Eat Happy Group is different than IKEA, Carrefour, Żabka. What are the distinctive differences between Eat Happy Group and the traditional retailers?
The biggest differences are, the first one is that Eat Happy Group doesn't have their own shops. The checkout supermarkets have data about transaction, and Eat Happy Group doesn't. The second one is the short life of product, so it needs to be sold in less than 24 hours.
So we know the challenges, we know the differences, and then yet there was the market to win. So David, you gave us the Austria to start with. Why was Austria?
You want to start with a small lab, you can call it.
Okay.
You want to talk about a market that is manageable in complexity, which you want to validate whether this is running fair. Because not only was Synerise in the Austrian market, we had another tool which we were in parallel assessing in Austria. So you want to give both tools the same conditions that they are operating in. Because otherwise, as any lab experiment, you start seeing very different results. And what we saw in the Italian market, which was very disconnected, so actually EatHappy was the only one mediating. We told you that there was another player. We saw three very distinct differences. Differences in the product, negligible. Differences in people, massively. Synerise was involved in the complete assessment of the market in Austria. In the Italian market, it was another external vendor. Not a very good impression if you are about to spend quite a lot of money on a tool of your choice. And then it's all about processes, how are both operating. Synerise very prepared, very structured in order to make this POC a success. It was not so much the feeling of a POC, it was the feeling of already working on a real use case. If you know, it's like doing a test ride, knowing it's not your car, or driving and knowing it's your car. It felt very real. And in Italy, we had a very different experience. And at the end, after Austria, it was tick, very clear winner. And afterwards, the only logical thing happened.
Thank you very much for the nice words. So, what was the first step?
The first step was to start identifying, capturing and retaining customers and then personalize offers to them. Also via locations. So, for example, a customer in the Berlin or Rome will have different preferences.
We've started with a CDP, but David, from the business perspective, what is the value of a CDP for the company like EatHappy?
We could have gone with any other marketing automation tool. MailChimp, HubSpot, whatever just basically dumps a lot of emails into our customers. And there's basically your biggest difference. You do not only want to send communication out, you also want to understand how the user engages with what you send them. You might want to lead them to a landing page, understand how is the content being consumed on that page, what devices is he using. Is he using more than one device? Is he maybe using different IPs from where he's logging in? You want to understand the customer better, and also for us to optimize our operations in the back in order to further provide them with more possibilities. EatHappy as of now has 150 SKUs of what we are producing actively in our sushi segment. But why not, for example, only 100 or 200? And by understanding the customers, you can also steer your assortment that fits what the customers actually want. Next to knowing that you need to have a communication tool, you want to have this analysis, segmentation, personalization. Any traditional HubSpot, MailChimp and so on is not gonna give you this level of insight. Plus, you want to have a platform to grow. You want to have a platform that allows you to fit your requirements you are today not even yet aware of. And this comes with the one element that we are now both together doing as a project, which is the loyalty. If you think about, and I can urge anybody who is in a decision-making aspect, if you think about the future of your operations, especially if you're a B2C focused company, loyalty is gonna come. It's definitely gonna come as a product or as a challenge that you're gonna face. So you can select a company that has solved this loyalty issue already integrated into CDP, or you want to go later on a second hunt for another on-top solution, and then you have the challenge of integrating everything. Yeah. So you want
expensive.
Indeed, it's going to become very quickly very expensive and very messy, because if we know one thing between different tools, it's all about making them talk to each other. And with Synerise, it comes out of the box.
Exactly. So CDP is just the beginning of the journey.
Yes.
And with the other use cases or modules or products we can call, in the pipeline. Indeed, when you look at the customer who buys the bed, it's a decision once every few years. TV set once every World Cup, right? And with the sushi purchase, with the food purchase, it's the loyal customers, it's the multiple purchases every month, every week. That's worth of investment. So we've started with the CDP. And what else have we implemented at the Eat Happy Group?
We start from automate campaigns, and we create special offer for new subscribers, a special sushi ebook, and then we start to collecting data about customers.
We made the first step, we made the second step, then it came to the real decision. So what was the second country that we were asked to go?
That was Germany.
The mother of all countries.
The mother of all countries. A majority of food concepts are in this country. Majority of POS are in this country. And it's also a largely fragmented geographically country if you compare the size of Austria compared to Germany. So we directly went for the big one.
All right, clear. So when we're speaking about the size and complexity of operations, just to give our viewers the feeling how complex, how advanced, and how complicated Eat Happy Group operations are, could you give us some more information, some more data about this?
So what we are now so data is going to be challenging, but when we are looking into the operations, we are seeing, if you're looking at Eat Happy, it's as of today, 1,250 decentral production units. Don't consider a shop as a place to only buy. It is a place that by itself decides and optimizes. What should I produce for the customers in this shop? What should I potentially optimize with regards to the planning? Because also fluctuations with regards to peak hours when customers are going to come in. So if you want to understand the complexity of an organization, understand the amount of production sites it has, and yes, of course, we have central productions in Busto and in Bologna in Italy. We have a central production in Bratislava. But Germany has 1,250 shops where the store decides what raw materials are needed in order to produce the given goods for a given day for the given customers. So the amount of change you can introduce by giving the understanding of the customer, by giving the understanding of the preferences of the customer, you completely change your supply chain. You completely change the assortment. You completely change your purchasing. So you want to actually optimize your whole operations, not only of what makes logistically sense, but what is being in the end also consumed by the customers. And this is where the CDP comes in, by giving as an insight into the end customers consuming our goods.
So the digitization, the data control, data analysis is a must-have. So you are either eat sushi or become sushi, right?
Very nicely said, very nicely said. And what you also mentioned with the data element is that what we are right now seeing is a change in how marketing is changing.
Right.
From a discipline where it's largely based on creative input, on what do we think is nice reason to communicate, to have the customer steer its communication and its personalization. The whole goal of having 3-4 segments, those times are over.
Yes.
Those times are currently massively over. Eat Happy, we are currently estimating that our market penetration in Germany is in the area of 20 million customers. And you try to classify that in 4 segments. So that's a very nice attempt. It's a very nice attempt, but we are seeing that the complexity is moving over towards marketing science. And if you really start practicing marketing science, analytics, insights, optimizations, you need to have a tool that supports that.
Yeah, so for 20 million addressable market, 20 million potential customer, 4 segments seems to be a little too little. So I think what we are driving to is the segment of 1. We are driving towards the personalization, to cater the needs, the behavior, and the demand for the one single potential customer. This is where we want to go with the marketing science, with the behavioral science that we are embedding into our solution. Speaking about personalization and segment of 1, what tools, what technology did you use to drive this idea?
I think the most important was analytics model to make a segments and also artificial intelligence algorithm to prepare personalized offers to each customer, because as we know, not all customers will like the same products. Yeah.
So the dynamic content inserting into the communication, into the emails, is this something that you notice the increase of the conversion, or how does it reacted within the customers?
Yes, for sure, conversion was higher. But what is good to point here that we also can create custom landing pages. So when we are going to the website, you will have quite a different web than I will have, for example, or David. Mm-hmm. So it's personalization per customer, and everybody have different version of page.
What do you think about personalization? Is this the area that the Eat Happy Group want to pursue, want to put more emphasis on?
It's the only way to conduct business in the future. I would love
very bold statement.
Yeah, I would love to give you any other statement, but it's anything elaborate. But it's as strict as, if you cannot understand your customer in the future, you're gonna be at one point out of business, because you're gonna completely miss this demand, understanding cycle, and knowing what's gonna come next. So it's the only way to go forward.
Okay, so understanding individual single customer is a one thing, but working in multiple countries, rolling out in 9 countries of Europe, speaking different languages is the other thing. So how do you deal with this, Patrycja?
Okay, so in Synerise we have special repositories which are called workspaces, and we can integrate one workspace with all countries, all markets, or we can integrate one workspace per brand or per market. In this case, we pick one workspace per market because of GDPR and policy of each country. But it is also possible in these 2 methods to communicate in different languages and also prepare a campaign to the different segments.
So did you have to learn all those languages that are spoken in those countries? Do you have to learn Dutch, or Slovak, Italian, and German?
Natürlich nicht, Janusz. The team from each country, the David team from each country, helps to build communication, and we have really good synergy in the cooperation on the projects.
Okay, so the working closely with each other, I think it's a guarantee of the success, and the constant exchange information on the deployment. And also, taking one good practice from one country to the other is as something that we can easily do. And I'd like to ask you about this really cool use cases that we've seen in the last 3-4 months that have been implemented. What particularly do you like? I mean, my favorite one is the Advent calendar.
Okay, so I will tell that Easter hunt. It was really a similar campaign to Advent calendar.
So we're going back to Easter.
Sorry guys. But yeah, Advent calendar is also a really good campaign. But Easter hunt was a campaign which regards eggs. So
okay.
A customer need to find all eggs on the website, and they was hide in the different sub-pages and sections. So it was really fun to take a part in this huge
game.
Yeah, in the game.
So this is the kind of a gamification that was without mobile application possible on the main page. So something that increases engagement of the customer, increases the repetition use, and so on. What are yours favorite campaigns, David?
I actually completely forgot about the Easter hunt. It was such a cool campaign indeed. What did I like? I loved Only Plans was a nice campaign. We had now until recently the taste where you could review the page. Also we had a floaty ball, thanks powered to Synerise. Now the advent calendar, I don't have a preference. I don't have a one that I really like. I just think that they're all cool in their own specific way.
So, but those campaigns, okay, we are talking about and trying to imagine those campaigns. And I encourage the viewers to go to the main webpage of the Eat Happy group. But there is a technology behind this. It's not only visual, it's not only cool pictures, but it's really something that connects the dots, collects the data all the time, trying to create the behavioral modeling of each customers. Then it would convert into the understanding the preferences. Then it would convert to understand when the message, what kind of message should be sent. What is the ultimate goal for such personalization, David, in your opinion?
Cash.
It's okay.
We are all. I think we are all working with a certain goal in mind. Right? We are all here employed for large, successful companies and organizations, and our goal, as much as we can, customer satisfaction can be a very, very nice goal. It's cash.
Yeah, it's a bottom line. Yes,
it's a bottom line. And if I can give you, if I can communicate in your values, if I have the understanding that what triggers you is a caring for the world. Eat Happy is now introducing sustainable packaging made out of paper. The front is not made out of plastic anymore, but for example out of silicon. Mm-hmm. If I know that you care about the world, this is what I'm gonna give you to communicate. If you are looking into high quality fish, into high quality rice, I can give you the confirmation that everything we are doing is regularly checked by high specialists in order to ensure that the biggest safety. So what I need is an understanding what value you care for, so I can communicate your value to you. And that value gets you an attachment, which in the end leads to repetitive buy, or in general a first conversion. Whatever we are doing, we are in the business of generating cash.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you very much, Patrycja. So technology is the one thing and the business is the other thing. But those two elements that are coming across each other and they're mingled with each other. There is no technology without the bottom line. There is no bottom line without the technology. I encourage everybody to go and check the pre-order at the Eat Happy Group webpage, and of course use the opportunity to order this delicious, fantastic, mouth-watering sushi and the other products, and they are available 99.9% of the time, exactly like Synerise platform is. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you, David. Thank you, Patrycja.
Thank you.